Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the countryside. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at the pretty village of Fifehead Neville in Dorset. It's located about 2 miles south of Sturminster, Newton, and we're going to be walking a roughly 5.5 mile circular-ish route. We'll start in the village and then head south to the hamlet of Fifehead St Quintin, then north past an amazing little bridge to another hamlet at Puxey, and then we'll head west to go through woodland at Deadmoor Common before returning to the village. Now I'm filming at the end of June. Well, the sun is up there, but there's a lot of cloud today, so I don't think we're going to see too much blue sky. It's a lovely temperature for walking, so do come along with us. Well, we'll start off with a look at a few things in the village, and we'll begin with the church, which is in front of me here. It's the parish church of All Saints. Now, there was an earlier church on the site that had origins in the 13th century, and a 14th century chancel arch indicates a nave and chancel of that date. The north aisle was added in around about 1500, and in 1736 new windows were added to the south wall of the nave and north wall of the aisle. The porch was added at the same time. The former west tower was demolished at some stage and the tower arch blocked up. In 1873 the chancel was rebuilt and the rest of the church restored. So today there is a nave, chancel, north aisle and porch, and just a bellcote at one end. Okay, well, let's have a peep inside. A lovely wooden door with studs, and just over on the, is that the northern side, there's the font, which I believe dates to the 14th century. And then there's the pulpit. It's coming through into the chancel. There is, well, a magnificent stained glass window above the altar, but it's not getting any benefit of the sun today, so we won't see it in all its glory. Gorgeous display of flowers on the left, and I know some folk always love to see the kneelers. There's one down there with what's that, a woodpecker and a kingfisher, and that one over there is a bridge. I wonder if that's the Packhorse bridge that we'll be seeing later on in the walk. It could be. And then finally looking back towards the nave, looks like there's just the one bell. I can only see one Sally there. Now the churchyard is closed for new burials these days, and there's a cemetery to the west of the church by the road. But what there is in the churchyard is one of the largest tombs in Dorset. This one here is 20 foot by 15 foot and 6 foot high, and it's the mausoleum of the Broun family. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Their family tree goes back to the 13th century, the first known member being Sir William le Broun, who died in 1301. It was Charles Broun who built Plumber Manor that we'll be seeing later on. And just to the west of the church is the magnificent manor house, and I believe parts of that date from the 17th century. Now, as far as the name of the village is concerned, Fifehead Neville, well, the first bit, Fifehead, comes from sort of fifth and hid, 5 hides of land. A hide is an ancient term, the amount of land required for, well, to support one family for a year. The actual acreage differed in different parts of the country. And the Neville bit, well, that comes from the de Neville family, who were the lords of the manors in the village back in around about 1200. There's the old chapel, which I presume once was an old chapel. Oh, what a quite enchanting cottage, manor cottage. I love the yellow roses going up the side of the wall there as well. Okay, well, we now need to start heading out into the countryside, initially heading southwards down what looks like Green Lane. Well, Fifehead Neville might not be very big, but it does have its own village hall down Green Lane. On our first stop of the day for a view, this is looking to the south. You can see it is very cloudy, but it's very warm. And we might see the sun later on. It's like perfect conditions for walking. I think what I'll have to do is film most of this in a low light setting on the camera, so we'll see how it comes out. Oh, this is a spooky section of the route, but dead straight line, still heading southwards. Certainly very atmospheric. Well, this is as far south as we go on the walk. We've reached the little settlement of Fifehead St Quintin, which gets its name from De Sancto Quintino or something like that. That was the family name of the Lord of the Manors back in the 13th century. Oh, some quite delightful cottages here as well. Peach farmhouse. I love the pink flowers on the wall there. Beautiful. Or the peaceful sound of the River Divelish. It's 6 miles long and rises on the slopes of Bullbarrow Hill to the south of here, and then flows into the River Stour just upstream of Sturminster Newton. I think the name means dark stream. Anyway, we're actually going to follow its course for a while. Actually, from here we're going to head north, so we need to keep it on our left. Now, I think this is Lower Fifehead Farm, not sure. If it is, then, well, the house dates to the late 16th, early 17th century in parts. Well, a little update on the route. We're heading northwards. This is looking back to the south. A sort of footpath we've come along the side of a field with horses. It's not the most obvious public footpath in the world. No way markers, but it certainly shows on a map. We've just come away from a field and crossed the river again, and I think where I am now is the site of Fifehead Mill. It shows on a 1902 map. And I believe the mill house dates to the 18th century, but I'm not sure there's much left of the mill. But you can see here how sort of substantial the river is. I wonder if this was part of the mill pond. I don't know. Ah yes, just a little bit further on. This must be the mill race, I imagine. I don't know. And it used to go through that building there. Well, folks, look at this beautiful bridge. A Packhorse bridge. It's medieval, with origins possibly as far back as, well, 800 years ago. It's about 6 foot wide with a couple of pointed arches, about 6 foot tall. There's no parapet on top, so that wicker baskets on each side of the horse wouldn't be impeded. I think the railings on the top are quite recent. Now, slightly older viewers might well remember the television series Old Country with Jack Hargreaves. He often used to start some of his episodes with the opening credits over film footage of, well, Jack leading his pony Ghost over the bridge. I mean, it would have been something like 40 years ago. But the bridge does have a couple of sad, tragic stories. Back in 1977, a car got stuck under an arch and a couple of people drowned. And then in 2003, another car was swept over the ford under the arch and got stuck. The electric shorted and, well, the driver couldn't open the window and drowned. What a lovely day to be out for a ride. Well, the sun will be out soon. With lovely horses.
Thank you very much.
And you. Oh, wasn't that little Packhorse bridge quite exquisite? So it's located just on the eastern side of Fifehead Neville. Okay, we're going to continue heading northwards. Well, just a little bit further north from the Packhorse Bridge in this field here, there was once a Roman villa. That certainly shows on a 1951 map. It was excavated in 1880 and 1903, and a large mosaic was found, which I believe is now in the Dorset County Museum in Dorchester. Now we really are on a pretty part of the route here. We're following the River Divelish northwards. Now I was speaking to a lovely lady earlier on in the walk, a local, and she was telling me that you often get kingfishers and otters along this stretch of the river. We're now passing through Plumber Manor, which was built by Charles Brune in the 17th century, a Jacobean country house that's been owned by descendants of the same family that built it in the 1600s. It's now a hotel and restaurant. Well, just as we leave Plumber Manor, we've got to cross a little bridge over the river, and oh, isn't that quite enchanting? Now I've taken a tiny little detour off our route to show you this bridge. It's called the Salkeld Bridge. Lieutenant Philip Salkeld was awarded the Victoria Cross for helping end the siege of Delhi during the Indian Mutiny of 1857. And the new plaque you can see on the bridge here was put up recently. His family originally owned land here, and the bridge was built as a memorial. Previously there was just a ford here. Of course, he was actually in the Bengal Engineers. Well, the next leg of our journey takes us northwards to Puxey Farm, and now we've got the River Divelish on our right-hand side. just as I'm making my way through this field, you see the crops really beginning to come on now. We had such a wet spring, but looks like they're catching up. Well, just coming away from Puxey Farm, and the track goes through this delightful avenue of trees. I think they're Lombardy poplar, aren't they? Another little update on the route. We've just passed by Bridleways Farm and following a track called Ducks Lane, and that's taking us in a sort of I suppose you call it a southwesterly direction. That'll take us to Haydon Corner. Well, we've now reached Haydon Corner. Had quite a challenging footpath to navigate to get here. It's dry at the moment, but I reckon you wouldn't want to be going along there in the winter. Okay, now at this point we change direction and looks like we're heading for Haydon Lane. Well, we've sort of changed direction slightly. We were heading towards Haydon Lane, but our route took us a little bit further west, and going through, well, let's just say the footpath isn't well used, although it's not impassable. This should take us to the outskirts of Deadmoor Common. Well, folks, we are now about to enter Deadmoor Common. Now, I have been told that this can get a little wild, shall I say. The trick is to keep sight of the open field on your left and you should be okay. So wish me luck. I'll tell you what, this is good fun. Yeah, just when you think you're lost, suddenly you pick up the semblance of a footpath. There is actually a public footpath through here. We'll keep kicking it on. Well, folks, we finally made our way out of Deadmoor Common. We got to know it quite well, but we're back on civilization now and going to join a little road only half a mile back to Fifehead Neville and the car. For those folk that might be doing this walk after seeing the video, I'll put up a suggested different route back from Haydon Corner to the village. Might be a little bit easier and avoid Deadmoor Common altogether. Sadly, no pub today. We'll have to stop off somewhere on the way home. Well, folks, we've come to the end of our walk. We thought we'd do the end scene here by this beautiful Packhorse bridge at Fifehead Neville. We hope you enjoyed the walk today. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment, and do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. So until we meet again, thanks for watching and cheerio.